Hello everybody, welcome back to this channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, no, I will not be making a tutorial of a song from the way or anything of that sort. We will be talking about music, but as you can tell by the title now, this is a book review. This is something that I've been wanting to do for the longest time, but I've never had the time. And I guess today's the day. I don't know why, but today I just had time after work to come home to do nothing. And as any of you may know, it's never good to not do anything. Always stay busy, or else you will fall like King David. Anyways, I'm going to start very simple because I'm new to this stuff, to these book reviews or whatever you want to call them. I am no expert in books at all, or literature, or whatever. This is just my opinion. I'm going to start simple because this is my first one. So I'm going to start with a book that really special person gave to me. Very special person that is in my life. And the book is called Only the Lover Sings. Art and Contemplation by Josef Pieper. I'm gonna read a little bit of the back so you guys know who the heck is this guy, right? Josef Pieper was one of the greatest philosophical thinkers of the 20th century. From 1950 to 1976, he was a professor of philosophical anthropology at the University of Münster, Germany, where he wrote dozens of titles, including Leisure, the Basis of Culture, Guide to Thomas Aquinas, Hope in History, In Defense of Philosophy, and In Search of the Sacred. So as you can see, this man, I guess you could say he's Catholic. If we look a little bit, if we do a little bit of research, I just turned my back to you guys. Yes, he was a German Catholic philosopher. He was a significant figure in the revival of interest in the thought of Thomas Aquinas in the middle of the 20th century. Some of his most well-known works, The Four Cardinal Virtues. So I happened to read one of his least popular books, as you can tell, and the majority of them they sound to be related more to the Catholic Church, Christianity as a whole, and philosophy about the Lord. But maybe I should have read a little bit background of him, and it's good that I'm mentioning now because at the very beginning of the book, at least the first half, it didn't feel like this man was the man that wrote this book was not Catholic. It didn't feel to me. Is he still alive? No. He died in 1997. The very first half of the book, of this small 75-page book, I didn't think he was Catholic or Christian at all. Let's see. There is two main sections to the book, but it is technically divided into 5 sections. The first one being work, spare time, and leisure. Learning how to see again. That's the second one. Thoughts about music. Music and silence. And 3 talks in a sculptor's studio. Now, the first half of the book is work, spare time, and leisure, and learning how to see again. Once you see the title that says Thoughts About Music, is when he starts talking about music. So I guess, where to begin? I don't know how these reviews usually go, but I'm sure there's got to be a structure to this, right? But I'm just going off the top of my head. And that is the next segment. The reason that I had a lot of trouble following the book is because it feels like the guy is ranting. The guy is going on and on and on about a certain specific topic that he introduces, and it's like you can tell he knows the answer. He can say it with short, small paragraphs, or he knows that you know the answer as soon as he mentions certain words, but because he doesn't want you, he wants you to keep reading, he adds more mumble jumble to his equation of paragraphs. And it's kind of hard for me. It's kind of hard to follow, mainly because I get distracted easily as I'm reading down the page. I didn't realize that I finished the page because I started dozing off about what I did earlier today, or some memory, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you start daydreaming while you're reading, and that happens to me a lot, especially in books like these. And so I guess that was one of my main critiques, that it feels like he's ranting a lot. The way that he talks doesn't sound very philosophical, but it sounds more technical. There's more technicality to it, to his explanation about work and leisure and spare time. I did like the beginning, though. I'm not gonna lie. The beginning of work, spare time, and leisure, the first section, is beautiful because he invites the reader to romanticize life. A lot of us find work difficult, and sometimes you don't want to get up. You don't want to get up in the morning and say, I gotta go again to this job that I hate. But it's like, this is the job that God gave you. And so everything that God gives us, whether in our eyes is good or bad, it's a blessing. It's a blessing from the Lord. Some don't even have jobs. And so, with that being said, I did like that. Then he goes on to talk about spare time, which is what I'm doing right now. Actually, I just noticed. This is my spare time after work. I got off work at 6 p.m. I eat at 7 p.m. And then from 7 till my bedtime is like my spare time. And so, could be watching a movie, could be watching a show, or playing video games. This computer's insane. But I think this is important to me. To romanticize life is basically what he's trying to say at the beginning of the book. Romanticize life. Find the interest in your life, in the work that you happen to have, in the spare time that you happen to have, in the leisure. Learning how to see again is where things start to get a little blurry, and is where he's ranting a lot. And you're like, okay, get to the point. You're just extending what you just introduced in your thesis of each paragraph. Like, I'm getting lost. What was your main point here, right? At least that's how it felt for me. And then once it starts getting to thoughts about music, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's barely about to start talking about music. But not only that, he hasn't talked about God at all. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, what is this book, like, religious or not? Because this book was bought in a religious store. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, I just keep reading, because I hate leaving. I don't know about you guys, but I hate leaving a book half read. It drives me insane. Whenever I go to work or I'm in school or whatever, it's in the back of my mind, like, should have finished. I need to finish this book, or I can't start reading another book because I'm halfway through this. It's the same thing with a show. You're watching a show, you're watching a show, yeah, and let's say, oh, the season ends, but there's more to come. But in the meantime, you're like, well, what the heck? Like, I want to know what's next. I don't want to start a different show. But that's how it is with me, and so I had to finish it, and I'm glad I did, because after thoughts about music, he got very technical. I was like, I don't know, man. It sounds like you don't even understand what music is, but that's because he's a philosopher. He talks more about how music affects the mind of every generation. Music changes with every generation that comes, and music is a catechesis to the world. Whatever genre it is. If the genre is hip hop, you're gonna, and you're listening to that all day, you're gonna be thinking about selling drugs, buying drugs, hooking up with a bunch of women, or in today's society, men. Getting money, getting paid, getting that bread. Hey man, they want those carbs, but that's the catechesis. The music is very powerful, and that's what he's talking about. Music is very powerful, but it's very technical, so it's hard to follow along. Now the last half, which is music and silence, and 3 talks in a sculptor's studio, that's the last 2 chapters. It's where it gets really beautiful. So it's really this book really tests your patience. Music and silence is a very interesting chapter, because the interesting thing is that he starts talking about hell first, instead of heaven or God or saints or anything. The first thing he starts talking about is hell. So at that point you're like, what the hell? But it's very interesting, because this is a quote that says here: as far as music is concerned, it is not difficult to imagine that in the inferno its place is taken by noise, infernal noise, pandemonium. But then, almost imperceptibly, another aspect of the issue emerges, namely that music and silence are in fact ordered toward one another in a unique way. So he's trying to say, basically, in my own words that I'm going to put it in, is like yin and yang. That was not very Christian of me. Hold on, I take that back. Music and silence is like the north and south pole of magnets. Together they repel, but the opposite, they attract. And so basically what I'm trying to say, to make up for what I just said about yin and yang, is that they go well together, because you can't have one without the other. And the reason that is because when you romanticize music, you enjoy music, and it lifts up your spirit. But then there comes a moment of silence. Sometimes you need to be quiet in order to contemplate life, is what he says. The art and contemplation. Yeah. I can't exactly remember on what page he mentions this, but in order to contemplate life, you have to be silent. If your mind is cloudy and it's crowded and it's noisy because you're thinking of so many things, or you're trying to come up with your own theory of whatever, you're not going to appreciate any of what you're trying to actually contemplate about, because you're not letting God fully enter into your mind to give you discernment. You're trying to give it your own will into your mind, if that makes a little more sense. So therefore you need silence. Once you have silence, then you appreciate the music. I don't want to talk too much about it. I'm not trying to spoil anything. Is this technically a spoiler? Well, I don't say everything, that's for sure. So you guys should still read it. Lastly, this is mainly for me, by the way. This video is mainly for me because I don't care if you guys watch the full video or not. This is for myself because I tend to forget books that I read. I've written many books in my life, and I have my little library here. And I look at some of these books and I'm like, I can vaguely remember what this was about. You know? And I think this little, if I can keep up with it, this book review series, if I can keep it going, it will help me remember the things that I read. Lastly, the ending is beautiful. Oh man. 3 Talks in a Sculpture Studio. So 3 Talks in a Sculpture's Studio is divided into 3 sections. 1, Remembrance, Mother of the Muses. This is something from the Greeks. That's something that threw me off because I was like, what the heck? This was sold in a Christian store when they're talking about Greek. Anyways, second thing, those in quotes, guests at the festival. Okay? Guests at the festival. And third, vita contemplativa. I think that's Italian, which means the contemplative life. Now this is where I end the book with and the video with. This is where he really starts talking about God, and it was kind of worth it, I guess. Kind of worth it. It was worth it. For a small book like this, 75-page book, it's not bad. You can read this in a weekend if you wanted to. But for some of those that don't have time and can only read at night, they can finish it in a week or 2 weeks. I read 30 pages in a night, so so just to let you know. But this is the end that he finishes with. In conclusion to his book of Only the Lover Sings, he mentions that the greatest artist of them all is the Lord. That is because not only is he our creator, but he is also an artist. Because the artist tries to romanticize his listeners. In order for his listeners to love him and to I'm not sure about understanding him in this case, this is God, but to love him and to pursue him, wanting this desire to listen more from this artist. And that is something that he mentioned, was that people don't like to listen to music if it's just happy. Like that song, because I'm happy, clap along. You know, that song was a hit because in the moment people are like, yeah, I'm happy. The song ended. Oh damn, I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. My life sucks. Or whatever. But he says that in order for for an artist to actually catch the attention of a listener, is to add a little bit of bittersweet and melancholic tones into his or hers music, poems, literature, whatever it is. That the viewer gets caught if there's suspense, if there's sadness, if there's fear, but at the end of it, that there's warmth, there's love. And this is where it gets really special, because this is where the Lord did the ultimate sacrifice for us, turned himself human for us, and died for us in front of us, being betrayed by his own apostles, by his own people, ridiculed, tortured with a lot of pain, suffered a terrible death for us, only for him to come back and say, I love you. I still love you. I love you, even though that you hate me. And so that paints this picture of love that no other artist can ever attain, no matter how talented the artist is. But he does motivate us to be like Jesus Christ, to be this artist that romanticized life, to find meaning in our art, to pursue it more, to pursue what we love the most. That's the only way to get through life. Life is hard. You're gonna struggle, no matter what position you are, no matter the situation, whether you're rich or not. Life is hard. Life is hard, and it's not supposed to be easy, or else you wouldn't find happiness in life. It would just be because I'm happy, I belong here. You know. You know. And so, with that being said, damn, I guess the guy is a really good philosopher, Josef Pieper. What I'm left with is that the conclusion that he left at the end, and to romanticize life, because life is beautiful. Life is beautiful, even in the toughest places of my life. Life is beautiful. And to end the video, really long video, and I'm too lazy to edit it, so too bad. You're gonna be stuck watching all of it. To rate this book, damn. At first I was gonna say 6.5 before I finished the book, but by the time I finished the book, I'm stuck between a 7 and a 7.5. I would give it a 7.5 if it had better literature. He's a very good philosopher, but I really feel, in my opinion, obviously this rating is based on my opinion. Somebody might find it more of a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10. I don't know, but for me, the ranting was pretty hard to follow. It's something beautiful, but it almost felt like he didn't even know how to fully say this message. And at some point, he says it. He says that, I don't know where I'm trying to get at, but I think my camera's about to die, so that's what I end with. 7 out of 10. I think it's a pretty good book. I think you should check it out yourself. Only the Lover Sings. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if I have some time, I'll make more song tutorial videos for you guys. Thank you for watching. If you decided to stick around for it, thank you. Bye.